We're back, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Marines Disquisition, and we did have to go ahead and take that long break there because the low-power broadcasters and micro-broadcasters were running the hot story of the hour. That is the shooting in Fort Hood, Texas. The latest update, 12 dead, 31 wounded, 2 shooters in custody. 2 shooters in custody, and 1 shooter is dead. Why, when, and the circumstances relating to that situation, we don't know the whole story, but we'll get it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll later on. They're going to talk about it probably for days. My biggest question is, what's going on out there to basically change this the talk of the streets. Here we are, this major catastrophe at Fort Hood, where the largest military base in America, and we've got fraud going on in Washington D.C. We got fraud going on in New York. The biggest brunt of the banking closures that are going on in Michigan, and it's not being talked about, and very few people are offering a solution. Mr. Chapman is offering you a solution to protect your assets, and he offers himself up there at theinternationalforecaster.com, theinternationalforecaster.com. You can give him a phone call after hours, and he will talk to you. Just leave your name and number, 800-375-4188. Get your pen out. Write this down. 800-375-4188. Mr. Chapman has got the most pleasurized newsletter in the world. Why do I know this? Because I have Marines friends that work in the financial industry, and they look at Mr. Chapman's newsletter. They're subscribers to his newsletter. This one former Marine right here in Little Rock, he works for an investment firm. He subscribes to Mr. Chapman's newsletter, and he tells me today, he says, Mr. Chapman's so far ahead of everybody around Merrill Lynch, it's pathetic. But don't tell him I told you that, Drew. Well, I just did. It's like Franklin Delano Roosevelt said in 1933. The truth of the matter is, as you know and I know, that a financial element in the large centers has owned the government ever since the days of Andrew Jackson. Do you not agree?
I certainly do. And I'll tell you, I got a new subscriber today. I get lots of them. And it was a Merrill Lynch broker. So I thought that was worth reporting. We have a lot of brokers who are subscribers all over the world, and I'm happy about that because I want the truth to be disseminated everywhere. And, of course, the financial community, by and large, has their eyes and ears closed, and that's unfortunate because when the market goes down again, many brokers will leave the business, and they have already, and that's going to hurt the firms. And back in the collapse of the market in 1982-83, 70% of the brokers left the business, and many brokerage firms went under. And so I think if brokers are listening, you better get smart and go out there and start putting gold shares into your clients' accounts. Companies like, and these are blue chips, and they're on, they're listed. Agnico Eagle, Gold Corp, Silver Standard, and Mindfinders, all fine companies in production. And your firm can't fault you for buying them for people because they're good companies. And if you want to stay in business, that's what you should be doing.
Mr. Chapman, there was a report that came out today from my broker who advised me that Tice had made an announcement that the S&P 500 would drop 60 points. Do you concur with that?
You're talking about David Tice?
Yes, David Tice.
He is one of the most honest, decent, brilliant people in the brokerage business. He's one of the nicest persons that I've ever met. And he's absolutely correct. And believe me, I don't say that about many people.
I'm gonna chime in. In the many years that you've been on this show, on my show, when I listen to you on other shows, I have never, not ever, heard you give anyone respect that's in the brokerage business. So I know when you give David Tice, when you say he's the good guy, he really is the good guy.
He certainly is. And there's a handful like him out there who have stood, on the firing line, taking all this crap from this entrenched group of crooks in Washington, and he is to be lauded for that because it's a very, very difficult position to take. It's a position I took for 28 years, and it's not easy to do, and he's a very strong person to have done that, and my hat goes off to him.
He told me this morning.
He called for the Dow at 2,800, and I'm calling at 28 to 3,200, and but there'll be stops along the way. We'll stop at 5,500, 5,000, 4,000 to 4,500, 3,800, and then I'm looking for some balance, if we're lucky, between 2,800 and 4,200. So all of you people who are in the stock market, get out. And I just got a report that just came in. It came in yesterday. The minutes of the meeting of the Treasury Borrowing Advisory Committee of the Securities Industry and Financial Markets Association, they're talking about withdrawing excess reserves from the system in the first quarter of the year. Do you know what that means? It means no inflation and a collapse of the economy. That's what it means if they do it. But I think it's smoke and mirrors. I don't think they will do it, because if they know if they do it, the whole thing's going to collapse. That's how dire this situation is. Get out of the bond market. Get out of the stock market. The only exception is gold and silver shares. Own gold and silver coins in different denominations. I mean, look at those guys from Rota, Spain. They bought 3 or 4 years ago when gold was about $500. They've doubled their money just holding bullion coins.
Mr. Chairman, Jim Rogers reports that there will be a short-term dollar rally and then possibly a small collapse before the dollar goes further. Do you agree with him?
Yeah, I think gold's going to get down between 71 and 7,200 on the USDX, which is a index, 6 major currencies versus the dollar on a weighted basis. Had a high of 124, recent high in the beginning of May of 89.5, and incidentally, we got all the dollar longs out of the market there and went short, trading around 76.26 right now. I figure by the end of the year, it'll probably be down around 71 to 200, and that's when you get your bounce. It'll last a month, maybe a month and a half max, maybe back to 76 or 8. Next stop, retesting 71, 72, and breaking it. By the end of next year, we'll be down to 65, 60, 55, somewhere down in there. So you don't want to own dollars, believe me.
You've been reporting on this for at least 7 years that I've known you, and 4 years that you've been on my show, radio show, and a 5th year considering that you were on another show that I picked up. Mr. Chapman, the question is, Why is the SEC worried about access to the public markets?
Well, I think that should be a concern, but I don't know exactly what you're referring to or they're referring to in regard to that.